I'm really excited about today's video because I know you're here because you want to make a plan for a successful year of teacher evaluations. And as Yogi Berra said, if you don't know where you're going, you will end up someplace else. And with teacher evaluations, we can often end up in a place where we didn't really support teachers' growth or where we did more harm than good. So get excited. In this video, I'm going to share a simple process to guide you through these steps of planning for a strong year of teacher evaluations, and I'll also explain how to get access to a document that you can use to guide your planning. Welcome to my channel, Lead with Love and Love to Lead. My name is madden-fuoco, and I love supporting evaluators so that they can support teachers' growth. So in this video, I wanted to make the process of planning for a strong year of teacher evaluations as fast and easy as possible. So I broke it down into 8 steps. And for each of these 8 steps, you can do them on your own, or if you have a team of evaluators at your school, you can do them as a team. Number 1, the first step is focus. We can't observe for everything, and teachers can't improve on everything at once. So for this school year, what do you want teachers to focus on improving in? Your answer to this question should determine what you focus your observation, feedback, and evaluation work on. A very helpful question you can ask yourself is, if I want my teachers to get better at 1 or 2 things, what would those be for my staff? So I'm sure you've already thought about these separate from the evaluation. These might be the district goals in your district or your individual school goals. And what you want to then do is connect these with teachers' goals for their own improvements in their own practice. And once you've figured out what you want staff to improve in, then you know what you're going to observe and give feedback on. And of course, if a teacher is struggling, you'll be giving that teacher feedback on whatever will help them do better in the classroom. But for your whole staff, what do you want your whole staff to be improving in this school year? Number 2, prioritize. So what I want you to think about for this one is, for you as an evaluator, what do you want to prioritize in your evaluation practice? So as evaluators, we want to spend our time doing what we think will have the biggest impact on supporting teachers' growth. So what you'll do for this is you'll think about, what do you want to be spending your time on as an evaluator? And what do you want your team of evaluators to be spending their time on? And then once you've determined these priorities, you want to align these with your calendar. So for example, if you decided that you want to spend your time doing short observations and short conversations because you really think that frequent feedback and support really helps teachers grow. So if you've said you want to prioritize giving frequent in-person feedback, then what you'll want to do is schedule into your calendar short observations and short conversations with teachers. Or maybe you decided that your priority is actually supporting teachers in planning. Then you'd want to be scheduling time for co-planning with teachers. Step 3, match. In some schools, there's only one evaluator, the principal. But if you have a team of evaluators, who do you want to evaluate who? So here are some factors to consider. You can take your total number of teachers and divide that number of teachers evenly among all evaluators. But you might also want to think about which teachers might require more time and more support. And you might want to think about which evaluators have more time during their day to provide more support to teachers. So you might not want to divide the total number of teachers evenly among evaluators. And then the next thing that you should think about during this match step is you should think about, how can you match expertise and experience of evaluators with the teachers that they support. So for example, you might have an evaluator who's an expert in supporting English language learners and was an ESL teacher themselves. It would be great to have that person providing support to the ESL team. Another advantage of matching an evaluator with a content team or some grade level teams is that evaluator can then attend those team meetings, which can really help to build coherence and relationships. Step 4, calendar. As Michael Hyatt says, what gets scheduled gets done. The opposite is also true. What doesn't get scheduled is unlikely to get done. And we know that this is especially true in the life of schools because there's always so much important work to do that can pull us away from teacher evaluations. So 2 things to think about with scheduling. One is with scheduling of observations and conversations. I have 2 suggestions to make this easier. One is to let teachers schedule directly into your calendar. And I have a video all about how to schedule observations, so you can check that out. And the second idea related to making scheduling easier is to consider having a fixed meeting time, maybe twice a month with each of your teachers. And you could even have a fixed observation time, but if you don't want to do that, you could just make sure to observe before that conversation twice a month. Step 5, team. We all know how it goes when evaluators go rogue and they each have different standards and they each have different practices. So if you are the school leader, you need to be thinking about supporting each of your evaluators to ensure that they have high quality evaluation practice. And you also want to think about norming so that you have some of the same standards and practices across your team of evaluators. So this will require that you have regular team time to work on improving your evaluation practice together and also to do some calibrating so that you have coherence as a team of evaluators. So for this one, you want to be thinking about how can you support the growth and development of each of your evaluators. And you also want to be thinking about how can you calibrate and align your evaluation practices across your team. Number 6. This one is so important. Number 6 is be honest. At the beginning of the school year, we can all tell ourselves that we're going to do X, Y, and Z. But we have to be honest with ourselves about the demands on our time, and we also have to try to make commitments that we really deeply believe in. So if you tell yourself you're going to observe 5 classes a day, but you can't really do that, you're setting yourself up for failing to meet your goals. So what I encourage you to do for this one is review the list of priorities that you created in step 2 and think about how can you break this down into the smallest action possible. And then I also encourage you to think about what intentions do you need to set for yourself so that you can stick with these commitments once you've calendared them. And another thing that can really help is where can you record these intentions and make them visible to yourself so that you remind yourself of them often. Step 7, verify. By this step, you've made some great plans. Now it's time to review them and make sure they all align with your goals and make sure that each action you plan to take will ensure that you meet your goals. So to do this, I encourage you to review your school goals. Then look through these plans you've made related to teacher evaluation and ask yourself honestly, will each of these actions support us as a staff in meeting our school goals? Step number 8, set up your systems. You are almost ready to roll, but what do you need to actually get this all done? If you are organized from the start, the whole process is easier to manage. Some systems to set up. How will you schedule observations and conversations? How will you write and organize observation and conversation notes? How will you track completion of steps of the process? And how will you track quantity of observations and conversations? So I have some great videos about systems. Check out the Streamline Your Workflow video and also the video about how the concept of mise en place can support you as an evaluator. So in those videos, you'll hear me talk about some of my systems. One new system I'm going to try this year is to actually have a small notebook for each of my teachers. So you'll see in my other videos, I used to write notes on paper and then organize them in a binder by teacher's name. But this year I'm going to try to have a separate notebook for each teacher and see how that goes. I think it's always good to think carefully about these systems, but if you try a new system and it doesn't work as well as something you did in the past, you can just go back to your old system. So check out the link in the description below this video, because I have an explanation of each of these 8 steps and questions to guide you through each of the 8 steps. I can't wait to hear how this goes. Please reach out and let me know how I can support you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in the topic of teacher evaluations, check out these other videos on my channel. And if this video was helpful, make sure to give it a like and hit subscribe, and click that notification bell to get notified about future videos. And I would love it if you would share this video with your teacher and leader friends, because my mission with this channel is to support leaders' growth so they can support teachers' growth. And remember, if you lead with love, you will love to lead.